Hey everybody, welcome to episode 9 of
Greetings, yes.
of the Rumble Renegade. And you know us lovely ladies.
I am Elle.
I'm Jacklyn.
Saundra.
And our special
guest.
Jason Ritchey.
Woo! Welcome.
Thank you for having me, ladies.
No,
We're excited.
we're really excited because you have got to be one crazy ass motherfucker to drive to the middle of the country with 3 white women.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you were on time, and we're the ones that's late.
Right. You know, it's never good when a woman's
That's
late.
funny.
Mhm.
Oh, well, yeah.
You got a 12-year-old.
Dude, I'm slow. Oh, my God. I'm like, you're always late. Well, I guess that's the only people I deal with. Oh, my God. That's bad even both ways.
So
Well, welcome.
we start.
Yeah, can we, how we start, and then also, can we remind them, please send in any questions as people start tuning in.
And like
Send
the page.
questions.
Come and like the page.
Yes, come and like the page.
Do
What
that
does
shit.
that say on
So-
the thing? Does it say start or join?
Join.
Join.
Join. That's what you want to do. So
But does it go on my page?
Yes.
you should be able to do a live party. You
Oh.
didn't think about turning. Anyway, we're going to go with the questions. I'm going to run this while they figure this
You're
out.
gonna have to turn that down
Okay.
really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Just
So what questions did you draw? Because every episode we start off with 3 random
You
questions.
gonna pick the first one?
No, you get to pick
No,
it.
you get whichever one out of
You
those.
want me to read them all 3?
If you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can read it and answer it, don't matter to me.
And you can choose
All right.
the worst.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll read them all so I can stall out. If you could have said one sentence to Hitler while he was alive, what would you say? If you could make anyone your slave for a month, who would be bowing to you?
Nice.
And what would you change about your first sexual experience? All right.
All right, so which one are you knocking out first? Or are you passing on?
Easily.
Are you passing on any of them?
I'm not scared.
All right.
You see, I'm out here in boondocks with y'all, like you said.
We are in boondocks.
All right, this one is, if you could have said, no, that's the wrong one. If you could make anyone your slave for a month, who would be bowing to you? Like, to me, this is a no-brainer, because I would have said nobody at first, because,
Right. Well, that's all
obviously.
fun.
But, I mean, because nothing comes to mind, but
All right.
it immediately came to mind. I'm like, I want Donald Trump. Easily. You need to
All
feel
right. That
this
is
shit.
clever.
You need to feel that fucking shit, like the full extent of everything that you've done. Like, you need to feel that shit and see, like, did it work for you? Like, is this really cool?
No,
like,
or
are
is
you?
it just-
How do you know he's not gonna love it?
Yeah.
the
like,
way-
I mean, that guy might be one cheeky ass motherfucker. Come on, he really sound. Come on now, he messes around.
Like,
with
what's the
Seth
worst you
Thomas.
can do? Not let him get on Twitter?
no, I
No
got
one kill him. Dude.
No one
the
killing
worst
him.
I could do is put him on allowance. Probably. Then you quit buying shit.
Might have
and
prevented the several
a
bankruptcies.
lot of power would have been blocked because I had blocked his allowance and he couldn't have made those purchases and decisions. So I think that might have done something. But,
Right. So what else do we got for you?
let's see. If you could have said one sentence to Hitler while he was alive,
I'm
what
very
would
political
you say?
today.
I know, right?
Anything.
Shit,
Dot,
man. I would have probably, like I said before, I probably would have said, this is probably not one sentence though. It's like I gotta comment. I gotta make a comment like, "Fuck, bro." Did it work? Like, was it worth it? I think was it worth it? Probably would be.
Right.
Or
right.
did it?
Well,
Something
but
along.
see, it doesn't specify at which point in time. Like young Hitler?
Yeah,
or
see,
like
I want to ask him right after he did all that
after
shit.
all that. Okay.
Like, because I couldn't enforce. Well, I mean, you couldn't have known that it was happening before it happened. I guess
Because that's sometimes been a question. Like, what if you, like, what would you say to young Hitler before all that shit happened? Like, I've heard that scenario.
It sounds like maybe just
Nah,
pat his ass
I
somewhere.
don't think it's anything that could have changed
Deterred him?
the path of that.
Psychopath.
Yeah, I mean, except maybe his upbringing or something like that. But other than that, like, if the shit was going to kind of happen. So
Send
now
him
I'm
to
just,
conversion school
Yeah.
for the day.
And what were you raped by
Reverse.
Harvey Weinstein or something?
Yeah.
Make it reverse conversion.
like, wow, I just want to, like,
What happened to you?
WTF. Yeah, something. Like, it's something along the lines of why or what. like, did it work? Because if it worked,
Just
then
why?
who am I?
Yeah, clearly it didn't work.
Right, exactly.
It was a fail. Sorry.
Exactly.
Hitler, you failed.
Yeah, so it
Choose
was like,
why.
why?
Thumbs down.
So yeah, I think the why was probably the best one then, because obviously it didn't work.
So, on to our
The
last,
last one.
question.
Sexual accounts.
Yeah, what would you change about your first sexual experience?
Just ease into it.
This is
Right,
so fucked up, probably.
You don't have to use names.
This is so fucked up.
Look at him blushing. You ever seen a black man blush?
Nah, but it is.
I know, right? You see it through the brown skin.
Was it your high school sweetheart?
Because, like, it's really, like, all right, fuck it. So, I probably wouldn't have done it with the girl, or I wouldn't have broken up with her, like, soon after.
How soon?
Oh, God.
Like right after you like roll
not-
over and then
Not
you're like,
like right after. It was like,
you put your pants on?
yes, my parents was on. It was maybe
Wait a minute, so your parents were on during the act? Or
I-
after
No.
that?
I mean,
I knew before that I didn't want to be with her still, but we was gonna do it, and so I did it, and then I kind of start leading and trying to break up with her, and it didn't work because my best friend would be.
He looks like
and he's like, I didn't mean to.
Cause
but-
I messed up.
Because it's fucked up too. My best friend would keep fucking with me because he knew that I was trying to break up with her. So he would be hiding around the corner or somewhere nearby, like a fucking duck dog.
I love that kind of friend. That friend is
So
always
I'm like, oh, I can't do it in front of you, like, and I can't really do this face to face. Like, this is so fucked up. So I probably wouldn't have broken up with her soon after. I think it was probably like a couple weeks after, and no. I think it was probably like a week or something like that.
At least it wasn't hours. I
It
was
was-
waiting for
Yeah.
you to say it was a
That-
matter of hours.
Because it happened again, and
You didn't learn the first time
no, I mean
around.
we slept together again, and then she was like, "So what does this mean?"
And you're
I
like,
was
"Oh."
like, well, I mean, the same that before we did it, we weren't together, so
Oh, damn. That's cold.
I know kids is so fucked up, man.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, well, you know what? Publicly
sorry.
apologize.
I really am, because that's like that could probably
She's
If
probably
any-
in therapy, right?
I know. You have any idea?
if anybody could be
Making it so
turned
terrible.
gay or like be like mentally fucked up about some shit, like by that would be the one thing, maybe one of those big things.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like that make you be like, fuck men. I hate you. Like,
Were you that good?
I mean, I'm not,
That you would.
not
you
then,
think
not
that-
then, but
that
after a few tries.
she
few
would be
drinks.
like traumatized for the rest of her life to swear men off.
Cause it's just like that's really fucked up on your first time around. Maybe it wasn't her first time around, so maybe that's why she's not traumatized. She's happily married with kids.
Oh.
So yeah, no, she.
She good. She good.
Oh, wait, maybe she knew what she was doing.
Well, yeah, I think she was lying the whole time in the first
Oh, is
place.
that
So
what it was?
why I kind of don't feel that bad. So I take that back, bitch. Because it was a thing. Like I didn't know if she was lying to me, if she was, because she kept saying she was a virgin. I'm like, I don't care if you are or not. Just why you lying? Like, you know what I mean?
But you don't know for sure.
I don't know for sure.
All right, so you'll just plead the fifth.
Yeah,
Smart man
I
would do
think
that
so.
right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump into comedy.
Yeah.
Yes, we'd like to know how you got into it, some of your experiences, some of your, I don't know, tell us some funny shit.
How did I get into comedy? I think maybe because I got laughed out of I auditioned for the Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
Homer's The Odyssey, right?
Really? Okay.
Right? See, look, that face.
Like,
Exactly.
where, like in California,
So,
or
which
like,
one is the right
Where
camera?
was that? That one right
this
there.
one.
Yep.
So I auditioned for the Odyssey in high school.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I want to be on TV. I want to be a funny actor like Jim Carrey and shit like that. Right? So I auditioned for that, and it was the role of King Creon. And so I went in there and auditioned, and it was the dumbest. Like, it's funny to me now thinking back, because I think I went in there. Have you all seen Coming to America?
Mhm.
So I did the role of King Creon, like Joffrey Joe Fur.
Oh
I
my
think.
god.
I think that made them kind of laugh me out of the drama department. So I didn't get to do drama in high school, but I started in 7th grade. Like I got into a speech and drama class, and we would play Whose Line Is It Anyway? And that's how I met my best friend, Lance Allen, and we would do improv in 7th grade, and then we just learned that we could do it very well, and we would watch improv, and we both like, I like In Living Color and SNL and Mad TV, and so we just came together and started making our own skits. And then in high school, we would film them and showcase them. Like we would have like screening parties and tell people to come over to the house,
cool.
and then they would come and watch them, and then from there we would just like pass them out. This on VHS. And then
classic.
Wait a minute, how old are you?
I know. Well, back in my day. And then so then we kind of got the balls enough to like try to do stand up at a talent show in high school, and I bombed horribly, of course, at 16, and continued doing the sketches though, because people really love the sketches, and then from there, like bigger known comedians started seeing the sketches because we would go to the comedy clubs or go to comedy shows, and they would be there, and we couldn't get into comedy clubs because we weren't old enough. Right. So they saw our sketches like online or on MySpace, or they saw the DVD or something MySpace.
MySpace, yeah.
Yep. And then they're like, oh, this shit is funny, man. They funny. So they would start taking us like a lot of people who are like on right now, they're really like doing big things right now. They would sneak us in the comedy club, like, it's okay, he's a comedian, he do sketches, and they'd be like, well, make sure you don't drink then. So I'm like, I don't want to drink, I'm just hungry for the comedy. So on my 21st birthday, I finally got to legally do stand up at Jokes and Notes. But before that, I was doing stand up at college shows and like touring around with my buddy, showing those sketches and doing stand up at that show. So we had to create a place to do stand up, and I use stand up as a vehicle to kind of push that stuff out there, because I went to like Second City and I got a scholarship to Upright Citizens Brigade in Los Angeles.
That's awesome.
So that was like my main thing, was sketch and improv coming in, and then once I was old enough to be on the stage, then I started taking advantage of it as much as possible. So
do you have a preference over improv versus stand up?
I really like.
Both.
I mean, I've grown to. I hated stand up when I first started it, because I was so used to doing improv and sketch comedy, and then you get up there and you're like, man, it's just me. But now I'm like, it's just me. I'm like, do everything I want to do. So I really enjoy stand up, because you can connect with people directly, say what the hell you want to say. You know what I mean? Like, this is the last, like they say, the last bastion of free speech. So I really enjoy that, and being able to connect with all type of people on different levels. So that's how I started, though.
So what's been your greatest achievement thus far that you feel?
My son. I don't know. You talking about stand up wise?
Yeah.
I don't know what my greatest achievement stand up wise. I did appear on. I did a television. I guess I did a television appearance on Trial by Laughter.
Okay. How'd that go?
That was cool. I think I made it to like the semifinals or something like that. But like that was the one thing I was like, I got to get on TV by my 30th birthday, or I'm gonna have to like jump out a window or some shit, walk in the traffic. No, you know what? I guess something that made it come full circle for me that was like cool was I did something called the CBS Diversity Showcase in Los Angeles, and I was an actor, and then I ended up being a writer on there for the showcase, and that allowed me to be able to like audition for. They were bringing back In Living Color, so that allowed me to audition for In Living Color when it was rebooting, and I got very far along in the process, where it was like a screening test with the Fox people, and then they were like, well, we don't want to do this show anymore. So it's a lot of those things where it's like that in Hollywood, right? You know, it's a lot of
right there,
or you film it. Or you film the whole thing and then it never comes out. I've done like a movie, never came out. Like,
you can't even talk about it
because it don't matter. It was like it didn't come out.
Experience, I'm sure, mattered.
Well, yes, for sure. That experience mattered because it taught me not to get excited about shit. Like until it's on TV, until it's done.
It's not legit.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a fair
Not
one.
legit, and you ain't shit. But
What? How do you feel about in your experience, like collaborations amongst maybe in improv? It's easier to collaborate, but it seems like I've discovered that comics, maybe more locally, but no, not even just locally, but like comics as a whole, because of maybe being worried that someone's going to steal their jokes or their punchline or just even the whatever. Like how because some people are open. That's kind of we're I think more free, open-minded creatives that are like, okay, you know what, we'll shoot the shit, like we'll collaborate. I'll show you I'll show you mine. If you show me yours, but it's just on a basis, like a trust level, as opposed to there are those that are totally shut up, do not want to share.
I definitely, I think I understand what you're saying, and I think collaborating. I think people maybe you should collaborate on I don't know. Like, I think it's a good idea. Let me first and foremost, I think you should collaborate with people because, like, especially depending on the scene that you're on, it's more effective to bring more attention to the scene. I don't think people should be threatened and not collaborate or whatever it is, or not say whatever it is, because unless you know for sure that this person is just ain't shit, then I think that it's a good thing to collaborate because, like, I mean, I just really, I like in Chicago, it wasn't like you couldn't really collaborate with, I mean, I did collaborate with a lot of people, but then there is like, I guess a number of people who kind of are threatened. And that's a real thing. I guess I don't know why, because at the end of the day, people don't realize everybody got their own voice in comedy. So everybody's going to be funny how they're funny. And that's what I tell people all the time when they say, is he funny? Or they sneak out and be like, did he have a good set? I'm like, yeah, that shit was funny because he was him. Unless he was trying to be somebody else. Like, you can tell that they're trying to imitate somebody else. That shit was funny. They just might not have found out a way how to communicate that effectively to the audience yet. But, you know, they might not be able to translate it yet. But I'm like, I can see how he's funny. I can see what he's getting at. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of weird, like, indie acts, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, the obscure... Like, I don't know if they're trying to be like alt or like
that's a nice way of putting it.
What is shop comic or whatever it is.
What is alt comedy? I don't understand.
What is alt comedy?
What is alt comedy? I hear it, but
I the shock stuff.
I guess alt comedy is like a Mitch Hedberg type of deal. I think he's considered alt, and I guess I don't know because it's not traditional in a sense. Like he does.
But he set up punchline like all the way. Like,
yeah, I guess so. But I guess he was
punchline after punchline.
Yeah, he's like set up punchline, set up.
I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe alt comic is like, I don't want to say like hipster, but like it's just
That's
like,
kind of what I thought it was.
It's just like you just like I'm against everything that everybody's with. Like I don't know if it's like that type of deal, but it's just like it's not conventional comedy in that the average man or woman wouldn't be successful from doing that. I guess is what that is for me. They probably wouldn't be showcased in a comedy club or something.
I thought
that. Doing the weird shit that they're doing, unless somebody was just like, I like the weird shit you're doing. I
thought alt comedy was almost in a sense like making fun of stand-up as a whole. So instead of taking like their
ironic kind of.
Yeah, so instead of taking like their life experiences and doing, or even just just everyday, like I mean, anything is, you can make anything funny. Like you can make drinking water funny if you know that was your thing. But I thought alt comedy was like, okay, so like everyone has like a dick joke, and everybody has like a kid joke if they have kids, and everybody all these different things that are like typical in stand-up, stereotypical things that you see like all the time. I see. So then they take that and they just kind of like run with it. Like they just beat it to death. I think I
So
could
maybe
be
an
completely
example.
wrong.
So maybe an example of that would be like
Interesting.
Gallagher or fucking Eric Andre.
No, Gallagher
Like
was
they're
ahead of
really
his time.
outside of the box.
Uh-huh.
Like they'll walk off the stage and just take off their shirt and just like poop on somebody. Like you don't know what the fuck is happening.
That's
So,
terrible.
Like that's what I'm saying.
So,
Like I
but
don't
would
know.
that be more shock
Google
comedy?
it. Somebody Google alt comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Alt
that
stand-up.
Google got?
There you go. There you go.
Alt comedy.
So what do you think shock comedy?
Well, you
Just your
just
idea.
going. Well, you just. Well, it's not funny, and you just trying to go up there and say rape jokes and you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
gay jokes and shit, just to be
offensive.
like edgy, quote unquote. But it's like not. It's no.
It's
You're
not
not.
funny?
You're not riding into the highest of your intelligence. Like you're not operating to the highest of your ability. You're just basically going for the low hanging fruit and saying some crazy shit just to despite people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I see a lot of that, and I'm like, ugh. Like,
I don't see a lot of shock comedy though anymore.
Yeah.
Well, because so many people get kicked out of
Yeah,
places.
you'll get banned. Yeah.
You'll get banned from and
from real establishments anyway. I mean, like maybe you can do it at a bar or one of these.
So because of hate speech or anything,
Hate speech.
being so
And you gotta be really fucking bad to get kicked out of a comedy club.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Just for what you're saying.
Right.
I mean,
Like be funny if you're gonna say some crazy shit.
Kevin Downey Jr., like only in Indianapolis will he go through a whole like, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes worth of, so this is the joke that got me kicked out of such and such a place. And so like, and then literally, and he tests the waters and he's like, okay, you guys are just sick. Like, I'm just going to go with all of it.
He's finessed it.
He's finesse. Yeah.
I don't know who he is. I'll have to Google him.
Yeah, he's from New York.
But I mean, when you found it's a way to do everything.
Yeah.
But
Sure,
when you just go like, I'm gonna rape a dog, like, it's like,
Well, thank you for sharing that with
What
us.
the fuck?
So alt comedy,
Like, what the fuck, dude?
the term alt comedy was actually coined in the 1980s. And it's,
What's the time?
well, acts
Right.
include Terry Clement, Sean Cullen,
But no examples of
John Doerr, Paul Irving, Chris Locke, Ron Sparks, Harlan Williams.
Charlie Chaplin.
Well,
I
so
don't know.
Any
good alt comedy is mainstream. There's no difference between Louis C.K. and Patton Oswalt. I don't know.
I know
They're
Pat- I know
supposed to be.
Patton Oswalt.
They're supposed to be alt comics.
Patton
No, it's
Oswalt-
just saying that because it's become such a maybe common thing.
So I don't think alt comedy is probably the real thing. Then it was probably, but no, Patton Oswalt, you know who he is.
Yeah.
He does a lot of like but like he's an atheist, I do believe. And his wife recently died of cancer, but she was the one. She wrote a book on the Golden State Killer, and like actually helped, was like involved in like catching the guy. I'm pretty sure.
Then
I could be completely wrong. I'm bad with names, but I'm
you
almost
have to
positive.
throw that
that's
out
the
there
guy.
because this is like.
No, that's the guy.
Yep.
But
Let's go back to you fucking dogs.
not a thing, by the way. But no, I just don't. I don't agree with just saying shit unless you could.
So what's the crazy?
But did it say
thing
both
you've
of them
had
were alt comics?
No, it was just from an article. I just jumped ahead. No.
Yeah, I'm like, they're not all comics.
I'm like, I need a definition.
It breaks
Comedy about comedy would be
Carrot
meta.
Top.
Yep.
Carrot Top alt com. I don't.
Okay, all
It
would
gotta
be
be,
different
like-
than shock, since shock based on breaking lines, kids in the
'Cause he's
hall
making-
would
Oh,
probably
that's
be at
John.
be
Hi, John.
alt.
Thanks.
Thank
Hi,
you, John.
What does it say?
Or
Monty
even,
Python.
Monty Python.
yeah, okay, all
It's
right.
different, not an obvious setup and not being like shock.
Okay,
Yeah,
I would say
think
that's a
what we're
good.
saying, yeah.
Thank you for that,
I
John.
think
I know.
That's
So you
an
just
excellent-
summarized everything we said, John. You didn't. That's not
That's
original.
not
But he said it
John.
He said it nicer. We were like putting it together.
I don't think you misspelled a single word, John. I'm so proud of you for being dyslexic, dysgraphic.
Hey, perfect punctuation.
But thank you for that. Now
I can't even read that.
Yeah.
So it's
What?
comedy about comedy,
Yeah, pretty much like Monty Python.
but that's satire though,
Is it?
isn't it?
No, I don't think
She
so.
said, just
I
my
don't
guess.
think it's-
Look, hey, I
No,
feel you.
SNL is satire.
Yeah.
SNL is satire.
Monty
No,
Python is
sketch
not.
comedy
I
is
think-
Monty Python and
But I-
Mighty Boosh.
Yeah.
No, that's just
And-
his guess.
I thought
I
Monty
think
Python's
that's
very
about right,
satirical
though.
though.
I think it's a class.
It's a class. I mean, it's still
I mean,
satirical, but
Okay, so where's that put Cheech and Chong?
yeah, where
that's
do we
just
classify?
well, that's a
It's just
a
a
film.
gimmick, I guess.
Have you not ever seen like Still
There's
Smoking?
comedians.
Yeah, but that's a movie, not.
what? But are
I'm
they
thinking
funny
they are
for the pot,
comedians.
or does the
Yeah, but
pot
I'm thinking
make
of
them funny?
what's
don't
alt
know.
comedy
I think
and
they're
like
funny.
stand up.
Probably.
They are comedians.
But
Cheech
they're
and Chong-
movies. Yeah, I know, but they're movies.
Yes, they have movies, but they're actual comedians.
Yeah,
if
but they're
Mary
stand
Jane
up.
wasn't with them.
Yeah, but when you say alt comedy, you're referring to stand up. I want to know what it means in like the stand up terms.
I got you.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
I still have no clue what alt comedy is.
okay,
like I
but-
said, I don't think it's like he kind
Yeah.
of said too. It's not like a standard setup punchline premise or
Okay.
like a standard one liner, and then it's kind of like you said, not shock, but it is very
We're 30 plus years past the time that
Like how
Okay,
we-
so
term
let's
was
just
coined.
you know
feel
what?
like-
Let's just reinvent the
I
damn
feel,
thing.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I don't think it's a
why
real
would it
thing.
be alt comics?
We're gonna reinvent.
But
the
I mean,
shit.
I feel like it's people, them obscure motherfuckers, the weird motherfuckers like Howie Mandel and Gallagher, like in Carrot
Okay,
Top.
there
I
you
think
go.
these are
That is
people-
new the version of
Yeah.
alt comedy.
I really feel
Problem
like
solved.
they're like, because the average comedian, when you think comedy, you're not thinking of that. You thinking of, I'm gonna get up there and tell my jokes. They up there smashing watermelons and doing magic tricks damn near. But, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's I just really believe that too. But I don't know. Who knows?
I'm a roll. I'm
What
gonna
were
roll
your
with it.
sketches about?
The sketch.
Very
And
good.
can we check it out on YouTube?
Yes, you can check it out on
What's
YouTube.
What's it under?
Go Jason R. You can see some of the sketches, and then well, really on every social media is Go Jason R. and you can see sketches. But
Why do I feel like I need pom poms?
I don't know. And then,
Oh, Jason R.
I guess that's why. I'm like, go Jason. Go. No, that's like Chicago, I guess. Chicago Jason.
Wait, are you Cubs or Whites?
Fair weather. Whatever team is winning, that's my team. But if they're not winning, you suck.
Good
Fair
answer.
enough.
But
Oh, yeah, sorry. What were?
So, how do you think crazy ever happened to you doing stand up?
It's even better.
Crazy heckler. And, I mean, have you ever had anything just off the wall happen?
I had yes. There was somebody. There was an old man. I remember this shit. It was at Hollywood Studios Bar and Grill on Sunset Boulevard, and this. It was this show. I guess it was like an urban show or whatever you want to call it. And in the middle of the jokes, like I went on stage and dude was talking shit, but then my buddy went on stage afterwards and he got up and interrupted the whole thing like drunk, like talking shit, like you got a little dick. Like, you know, he's like, and everybody laughing at the shit too. So it's like, are you serious? So this is like,
This is not
so my homie like, see me outside. We can talk after the show. Dude, I guess he took that as fighting words. Because that is kind of fighting words. We were like, see me outside. But it was like, let's talk after the show. He came outside with what I want to say about 6, 7 young blood gang members.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that changes
So
things.
the old man, he comes outside. He was like, you won't get turned up, young man? You won't get turned up, young man? Because I've been in the penitentiary. I just got out the penitentiary. The penitentiary, that's how you know he was in there for some shit. Because he spent time in the place. And he don't even know how to spell the place that he spent time in all them years.
You can't spell or say it.
He can't spell or
When
say
he
it.
tries to enunciate.
That's
like,
how, and he's at the enunciate the penitentiary. We can get turned up, young man. Already, that's a bad, like an old man saying turned up, like turned up, young man. You probably shouldn't be saying turned up. But anyway, he was really trying to fight, and we like no, like not on that. And the guys who were with him, the young bloods, if you will,
yes.
they were like they kind of pulled him off to the side. They stepped up to us just like the most generic gangster from Los Angeles, and it was like,
yeah, our bad blood. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the OG. The OG just got out of jail and he was tripping. You know what I'm saying? He got real drunk, so he was just tripping. You know what I mean? You got heart. You got heart for doing what you was doing up there on that stage. I can't do that. You got heart. We like that.
So yeah, it was just like,
Well, they talk different.
yeah. So the young,
California.
yeah.
That sounds like Chicago.
I mean, he
Sounds
was,
like Chicago.
and
You put Chicago.
that's funny as hell. You're right. They were the most slewfoot, nice guys ever.
Polite.
Like, they were like, yeah,
The
we
politest
got
gangsters you've ever met.
some of the most polite gangsters we ever met.
That
And
is a
they apologized on
irony
behalf
in
of the
itself.
old guys. So it really is ironic because the younger guys had better behavior than the older guys. So, and it was a gang organization, like
Yeah.
for crying out
They
loud.
got rules.
Yeah, so they're like, yeah,
Etiquette.
sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Vaughn.
The Crips are just one of
So read that out loud. So
Yeah, too bad you didn't have a bunch of friends in wheelchairs. The Crips always went against the blood. Yeah.
They can roll out.
We
They
do.
do.
I know about
Nah.
wheelchair fencing.
Y'all silly.
Wheelchair fencing.
Wheelchair fencing?
Yes, I'm a fencing coach. I
Oh,
can't put that back there. Sorry.
nice.
I'm a fencing coach. Yeah, and there is such a thing as wheelchair fencing, but they're basically connected in. So all they do is they move their torsos no matter what level of handicap they are. Because we had a young lady in 2012 go to the Paralympics.
Oh,
And
shit.
it is some of the craziest, like, because I fence saber,
Mhm,
and it's fast enough anyway,
mhm.
but I highly suggest looking it up on YouTube. You'd be
What?
like, what? They're not even moving,
they're
and
out
it's
there like
crazy.
trying to.
Yeah,
That
no,
seemed to me.
we
It
whack
sounds to me
I
like
gotta see this because you gotta.
so
Yeah,
you're
that's exactly-
so you're whacking the cripples.
each other.
Oh my god.
No discrimination.
So you
There's
coach.
like
So you
sport where
teach this.
cripples
Well, they're
whack
not
each
wheelchair
other.
fencing. I able-bodied fencing,
Oh,
but my
okay.
dad
This
has
is
taught wheelchair
fascinating.
fencing.
Okay. Is your dad in the
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No,
That's
they
fine.
just train
Unfortunately-
people in wheelchairs to whack each other.
Oh no, I
So
accidentally.
wait a
Oh,
minute. Wait a minute.
Wait.
I'm sorry. Wait. So, how did you get into this?
My dad's a fencing coach, so we run a.
So, but how did he get into
Oh,
wheelchair fencing?
okay,
Did
so-
he just have a wheelchair? And was
Nope,
fucking
no, so
around
what
one day? He's like,
happened-
I'm gonna do this.
No, it's a
Oh,
great
dude.
question.
I'm
No,
so
because
mad.
what happened was one of our fencers, Kat Beaucamp, who's out in Colorado, working for I think the U.S. Olympics or whatever out there. And so she was able-bodied. She was born with, I forget, the one leg was shorter than the other.
Okay.
And so she started off at the age of 6. She fenced for like 4 years, able-bodied. But then it came to our attention that there's really no people
Sorry.
that could
I can't
qualify
read it.
for the Olympics in 2012 for women's saber.
Mhm.
And so she started a few years before the
It's like
2012
Crips.
games
That's
and
what it
travel. So all you had to do, and I have photos of this, like, so basically you'd set up a chair, and when we didn't have the wheelchairs in place, you would set up the chair and you would do it stationary. Then we got access to the wheelchair because down in Louisville,
Okay.
I mean, there's a community down there. Not
See, that makes sense
I don't know.
because like that's how I come up with
I'm
shit,
not
just
allowed
fucking
in a
around.
wheelchair. So the difference between a regular wheelchair and a fencing wheelchair is it doesn't have a back.
Mm.
And Elle tried to pop willies.
Oh no,
And
you idiot.
I basically I hurt
Flipped out the
myself
chair.
while being in a wheelchair.
That's why you never ever. That's
But-
the rules. Ever.
I
It's
still
like-
can't believe they teach each other to beat each other up.
Yeah, well, that's what saber fencing. What's what fencing
It's
is.
self-defense.
Yeah,
We're talking to people with wheelchairs.
It's
man.
like jousting.
Self-defense.
It's like it'd be like jousting,
Well,
except for you're in a
How
wheelchair.
do I get in on this action?
Hey.
See the way you would interpret that. I tried to watch it. I can't. They're too fast.
Yes,
for me.
Pon Pricks on
Yes.
Wheels would be a great name.
Pricks
for a
on wheels.
Horrible.
Fabulous.
But that was fascinating. I'm sorry. That was a tangent. I don't know
you're
what we were
welcome.
talking
No, that's
about.
what we do.
But yeah, fencing. So you can wield a sword? Do you have a blade?
I'm not allowed to carry a saber in my vehicle.
You're a deadly weapon. We can't talk about
Wait,
it.
wait. I was gonna say I'm gonna disagree with that statement. That bitch is crazy.
Hey,
That deadly
I
shit
wouldn't
right
be
there.
surprised.
But he likes that, so
No, not at all.
He hasn't heard my 3 levels of crazy.
no.
Count me out.
Yeah,
Count
no,
me out of
nobody
crazy.
likes that. Yeah,
We're still on Pricks on
good.
Wheels.
We're still on
Okay.
Pricks on Wheels.
Yep.
Do you
And
have
then
a?
I'm sorry. What up?
Go ahead.
Then you asked me something else.
Yeah, but no, you answered it. It was the craziest time.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
pretty crazy.
But do you have anything funny you'd like to share with us that you were like, holy shit, Matt? Yeah, I shouldn't need to stop saying
It was a funny.
that. I'm gonna call Batman down.
It was a funny story when when Cat Williams did some crazy shit. Remember when Cat Williams was acting crazy back in the day?
yes.
Like
Cat
not back in the
Williams.
day. I want to say like 4-5 years ago or something like that. He was getting into it with little kids and throwing shit in the crowd at the shows, like in California. So this was back when Obama was running for re-election. And so I was at the Comedy Store, and there was like no comedy happening. Everybody was just watching Obama's inaugural speech on the screens, like out at the bar. And Cat Williams is marching around with Romney Ryan signs, and him and like 8 other people are marching around. And he's like, "I'm mad, my man lost." Like, so he marching around, and people taking pictures of him. They're like, "What the fuck? Is he serious?" Like, whatever. You know what I mean? I ain't judging. Whatever. But it was funny.
It was.
He
It
came
was funny
into-
to me. And
Oh, you can keep going.
oh, okay. So he's marching around, and he goes, and everybody's laughing or whatever. He marches to the hotel next door to the comedy club, and one of my friends takes a picture of him with his cell phone. A lot of people are taking pictures of him with their cell phone cameras. And somehow, I don't know, like if I could, I wish you could just see like the front of the Comedy Store. I'll show you a picture of it. But like he somehow saw him take the picture and came over there so fucking fast, and he took one step over this tall wall that was almost taller than him. And he got up in the dude's face, and he was like, "Are you exercising your rights, nigga?" And then he was like, "What?" He was like, "By taking a picture of me, are you exercising your rights, nigga?" And then he was like, "What, Cat, man, get the fuck out of my face." And then Cat swings on him.
Oh.
He swings on him, right? And then, but misses. They were like this close. He swings and misses. I mean, his eyes was black as hell too. Like, you know where your eyes are white? Like, the whole thing was black. I don't know what was possessed, opium. I don't know, but he swings, miss, and there's a whole like tussling like with the security guard and the guy who he was swinging on. And then I'm looking around, and then we look up, and Cat's across the street. Like one of them cartoon pile ups where they get in the cloud and then the people get out. So he across the street, and he like, "I'm going to get my gun," and he hops into a big ass escalator, just rides off. Like, it was just the random shit ever. I'm like,
I was in LA, and he came into Haha, which is
Yeah,
in
I
North
know.
Hollywood.
I used to be there all the
I love
time.
Hollywood. Yeah, I love.
I used to
HaHa.
have to DJ there for stage time.
And he came in with like this huge entourage, and he had like a big coat. I mean, you could barely recognize.
Yep.
He had a huge entourage, and he got on the list.
Yep.
And then he left before it was his turn to go out.
I used to always see him there with Suge Knight at that time. I was like, it's Suge and Cat Williams. I'm leaving.
I was at a fight in Vegas. It was fuck, I forget. It was a long time ago.
Mhm.
But Suge Knight was like literally like from like where that dryer is, and like it was the craziest thing. Yeah. And he's something else. He had a huge entourage.
Yeah, I'm like,
and
it's time for
yeah.
me to leave. Every time I
Yeah.
see him, like anybody cutting up like that, it's time for me to leave. Like I don't want to be associated or lumped in with none of that shit.
And there was like 30 people, and like no one talked to Suge Knight except for like the 2 people on his side, and then anyone else, like it was like telephone and it was the craziest thing.
They had to relay all their
Yeah.
messages home.
Clearly, I was more excited about Suge Knight than I was the fight, but no, the fight was cool.
Nobody bothered to
Fight
tell
was
him
cool.
that texting had been invented.
No, this was texting was still new, because I mean this was
Wow.
like back in
Early 2000s.
How old are you?
Early 2000s. I mean, I'm sure he was still using tech. I mean, I was, but this was maybe
like page time.
Before
iPhone. It was like
Okay,
right when the
so this
iPhone
is
would have
like-
came out.
This
Like
is like
it was.
Palm Pilot.
Yeah, it was like 05,
This is like
2005. So it was
Sidekick.
like right when the iPhone Sidekick.
Yeah,
there you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Okay.
Sidekick.
That makes
So what you've been everywhere.
somewhat. I'm not really.
Where's your favorite
trying.
place to do
Well,
comedy?
and why are you here? I mean, do you have
My
like
favorite. I don't know. My favorite place to do comedy. I can't say a particular like city or state. Probably.
why not?
Just really just comedy clubs as long as they let me in. Like.
I
I mean, you know,
That's
like,
fair.
I love you all.
that's my perspective for real. Because when I was doing stand up for years before I couldn't really get in, so I was having to fight to get some stage time and shit. So now I'm like, oh, they gonna let me get on?
Yeah, I want to go.
But
Best excitement.
I mean, Chicago, obviously, because I really like the city it's grown to be. Like it wasn't always like that. So it's really cool now.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the LA clubs are cool too. I never did New York. I really want to go do New York because that seems to be comedy paradise. Like you can get on stage numerous times and get paid. So I mean, I think that's what we all kind of need to head toward or get there. But what brought me to Indy was like I was living in Los Angeles and like doing shows, auditioning, having a monthly show. I co-produced a monthly show with some of my friends, and then I came back here because I didn't want to go back to Chicago. Like it was plain as that. I was like, I come back to the Midwest to be closer to my son, but I don't really move back to Chicago because it's costly, and here it's cost effective, and you know, like. People say it's boring, but like, you know what I mean? If you're bored, then go take a trip. Shit, it's cheap enough like for you to pay your rent and be able to go travel. So
we had
this is in the middle of everything. You can
Yeah,
drive
that
to
is
everything.
true.
So this
Now
is,
we had a viewer that said that Indy isn't known for
Comedy, except
Comedy.
for Bob and Tom.
despite that.
And
well, yeah, that's
proximity to Chicago really
that's
helps.
another funny thing about that because, like you said, it's not really known for that outside of like Bob and Tom. And when I came here, initially, there was only Morty's and Crackers, and so I mean, when I came to Indy, you kind of had to pick a side.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it wasn't that much venue, so I did Crackers a couple times and end up doing Morty's more so. And now R.I.P. Morty's, but they
Rest in peace. They're dead.
Oh, it's like
me and the guys, the Morty's guys formed a group called the Indianapolis Motor Pugs.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, some random ass
So
shit
cute.
where it was me, Austin Real, Seth. Shit, I'm sorry, Seth. Oh shit, Seth, I love you too. Like Miguel Dalmau, who goes by Che Guevara or something now. He moved to Wind Chains, and then Sean Latham, Ty McComas, and Chris Bowers. So we would all do shows together, travel around and do shows together, and had a podcast, a weekly podcast, because that's what ended up bringing me to Indy. He was like, I want you to join this group. And I was like, cool, I'll play the black guy. And we pretty much did that. That's what made me kind of stay here too. You know what I mean? So that was, and then coming back here now, the scene has grown since I've come here just in the last 5 years. Because like there were those two clubs, like I said, and then Chubby's came and went, and Fountain Square, and then now we got Helium Jokers, and so it's like, and Crackers now, and just a lot more like just other rooms that are doing really well, like the White Rabbit, and
Right.
they've been for years doing that. I've never been there that one time. I want to come, y'all.
Really?
I've never been.
I want to be in on that too.
Yeah, they do like some really cool shows, and I never managed to get down there. I keep seeing them online, but there are a lot of staples.
Actually fun shows to watch.
There are a lot of staples like Shoe Fly and whatever the place is. It's a lot of spots in Indy that it's grown. It's grown to a point where it's a viable scene, I think, and I think that it's getting some attention now.
I would,
a lot more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. definitely. In terms,
definitely.
there's something going on every single
It's bubbling.
night
Yeah.
Mhm.
of the week, at least one place. So
Mhm.
that helps in terms of, I mean, for the city.
Yeah. So I think this is really they call it the crossroads, you know, but I'm like, I guess it is kind of the crossroads because everybody comes through here, and
Mhm.
that's why it's like still a viable market, I think, just for comedy. So it's
Yeah.
doing good.
I
Like,
think so.
I'm excited about it, and it seems to be doing good. So that's why I'm here, because it's providing an opportunity for me.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
I would say, hey, if you broke, come here.
This is the place to start your
Or
comedy
if
career.
you're a fiscally responsible adult
That too.
or parent.
That
I
too.
mean,
I think I fit all of those. I checked all those boxes, maybe.
Maybe. You don't know.
I'm somehow.
I'm not gonna tell you which ones. I'm just saying. All right. So what? I don't know. What's your favorite joke? What's your hardest hitting joke? Do you have one that you just nails them every time?
No, I don't. You know what's so crazy? I don't think that you. I don't know if y'all are like that, but like I don't think I don't. I'm like I ain't shit. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm like this ain't funny, man. If it was funny, I'd fucking be on TV again or something like that. Maybe I'm just a self-deprecating motherfucker, or you know what I mean? But like, it's really to me, it's really nothing if I'm not where I want to be, and that's just a mental thing for me. So like, that's why I'm constantly working on new jokes because I want to have so many jokes. Yeah, that. I just want to be able to. I want to be able to keep it fresh because I know a number of people who go to see comedy show and they're like, I saw that joke before. But then it's cool for me when people come and say like, I saw you another time and you did those same jokes, and I'll be like, I'm sorry. They're like, nah, I liked it, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like, so
I agree with you though. That's always a concern when you're going around doing the same jokes in front of people.
I get sick of the joke.
Right.
I get sick of the joke.
Well, if you're going around touring,
Right.
that's kind of how it works.
You have to.
You're,
You
doing,
have to have a
you're
set.
taking your best set, and then but
For sure.
But like open mics, I mean, at some point you gotta.
Yeah, change that shit up. The whole point of an open mic is to try new stuff.
Yeah, but you still gotta practice. I mean, it's a combination
It's
of
right.
both. But
You're
yeah, if
right.
that's all
That's a
you're
good
doing,
point.
like if you're like 2-3 years in and you're doing the same set, like what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Man, it's finding the balance, and you might still be doing the same set. Like it's people who still do the same set. It's not so much that they ain't worked on nothing. It's like they haven't touched this group of people somewhere, so they're like, I'm gonna do this again. Because if you ask one of your friends in New York, did you see, you know, Kevin Hart or something like that, then and then ask them what jokes they did, they probably gonna say he did the same jokes, and so it makes sense because he hasn't been there, but. I don't think I have I don't have a favorite joke. I'm just happy when they work. And the thing, and what's so crazy about it too, I was just talking about this with somebody else, is you work on a joke so many times, and in your head you like, I know this shit is funny, and I had a joke, one joke in particular, it failed over and over and over and over and over for years. For years, and then I did that shit at Helium the other maybe a month ago, and that shit was perfect. Everybody fucking loved that shit.
Right time, right place.
That's all it is.
Timing.
That's
I
all
got one
it
like
is.
that. It's just failing, but I can't let it go.
Here's the
You
thing:
can't let it go.
No, you gotta use
you
it.
can't judge anything at an open mic. Because the
Well,
primarily
sure.
audience is comics, and comics just don't laugh.
Oh, for
at
sure.
other
That's a fact.
Unless it's a real crowd, you
and
can't.
That's a fact. And it was an actual show. Like I wouldn't ever judge an open mic. To me, open mic is all about you gaining something for yourself.
Yeah,
it's just practice.
Well, also, but it probably not just time but not just timing, but the place, maybe the crowd.
Yes,
it's definitely
Everything.
different mentalities.
We have a question.
Yeah, the question: mixing old and new better, or just sets of jokes,
or just a new set of jokes?
Oh, new set of jokes.
You could do different combinations. I mean,
I was gonna say
you always start with
what
new.
you feel like.
You should always start if you.
What you're comfortable with.
You get 5 minutes. It depends. You get 3 to 5 minutes depending on the mic, right? So you're always practicing old stuff. Anything new, you're definitely gonna want to start with the new because you know. You don't want to save your new to the end and then it not work.
Right.
But it's
doesn't
just,
happen.
Typically.
I usually, I always take the stuff that I'm working on, I'll work on something and I'll do that for a week maybe 2 weeks. I might cut some of it out and then bring in old stuff. But, like I have a lot of material, like tons. It's ridiculous. So like I'm just constantly rotating it in. But I usually always start with something new.
I think that's about right. Unless you're the type of person that gotta gain a head of steam, you know what I mean, and get some confidence from the laughs to go into your new shit. Because some people are scared to do some new shit.
I noticed that, yeah.
But open mics
they're great for working out new shit.
It's just about how you look
open
at
mics are just practice. You can't, just because you don't get laughs doesn't mean it doesn't work. I mean, it's just you're relying on comics. And also just because you do get an open mic people to laugh doesn't mean that you can go take that on stage, because then the reverse sometimes happens. There's no it's weird. Comedy is so weird.
It's
There's
just trying to capture lightning in a bottle, man. Really.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
literally.
It's so, yeah.
You like that worked? Like, what did I do? All
Right,
do it again.
right.
How do I make that lightning bubble?
Like you can't.
You can't. No.
You can't.
I just think you have
moment
to-
to moment.
Yep.
Yeah, you
I
just
would
have to
agree
find
with
what
that.
works for you and
Yeah.
what your style is and how you like to express yourself and get laughs. And everyone's different. I mean, there's certain categories that most people fall into, but yeah, everyone's different. I think.
But, yeah, that's
So we have what most comedy we see in the mainstream is a recorded show.
Recorded.
Yeah, that's fair.
What you're going to be.
that's
first
just something
time-
that's something polished though. That's been working on that
Yeah,
for years.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They've
No,
been
I
working
think
on that
that's-
for years.
That's
so.
not the same as open.
Deal set contestant. How does one break out of being a chronic open micer?
That's a really
There's
good
no, it
question.
doesn't.
Yeah,
You gotta
That's
move.
up to you.
You gotta go to
gotta
LA
do
or
it.
New York or Chicago.
You just gotta figure it out. Make your own path.
You gotta go.
Yeah, 'cause,
There's no answer to that. You gotta get lucky.
Yeah, Miss.
Someone's got to see you. Someone's got to see you. Someone's got to know you, or you got to move and work your way. I mean, that's
I can't even explain it. I just people
get a credit.
Right time.
Get a
right
credit.
place.
Are you in a movie? Do you have a credit that someone can sell? So then you get to go on the road. I mean, you gotta be able to like market you. So however,
Marketability. I think that's the key. Marketability.
He say I seen Miss Pat Bomb trying out new stuff at a local open mic.
I
It's
saw
like
her.
having a TV show. Depending on your audience. Yeah, it's an open mic. Exactly.
Even Chris Rock still does open mics.
You go to
Dave Chappelle does open mics. They go to the Comedy Store.
Yep.
And their tickets are like $15, and you
they'll
go
bomb sometimes.
and they bomb, and they just work out their stuff the same way we do.
They just
And
get an hour to do it.
They get an hour to do it. And also then like other comics that are trying to work their way up are the ones that these comedy clubs put up before them to warm the crowd up, and then it starts just the way. So like so like people that are like starting the show, like 1, 2, and 3, maybe, like they're more of like your character comics. So like someone who's like, I'm going to be white trash, and they're going to come up and they're going to do white trash, or they're going to do stuff to get the people like listening and kind of like engaging when people are taking drink orders. And then it just gets better and progressively better. And then like each slot, there's like a science to it. I don't know all the details or anything, but there's like a science like where they place certain people for like that type of show. And then there's all kinds of different like comedy shows too, you know. So
yeah.
but yeah,
Welcome,
you're
Steven.
always doing open
First
mics
time
if you're a
viewer.
comic.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. But I agree with that.
And then other comics, so like the big ones, the big names can go to like the Comedy Store, or they can go to Laugh Factory or other clubs that, you know, the bigger clubs. But like like Miss Pat, like she had to come into Helium to work out some of her stuff. So like if you're you got to find your club and your way to work on it. And I think pretty much like if you're a road comic, if you're a working comic, if you have representation, I think they probably have a set of clubs like here, you can go here and work. I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
Home stages.
The homes, yes. Yeah, that term I've heard. Now crowd working, something worth trying at open mics, or just
you love crowd work?
It
Okay,
depends.
hold on.
It depends on your
who
style.
the audience is too.
Well, it depends on your style. Like I would say it depends on your style.
Okay, the crowd work comics, he's got a question about that. See, now I personally love to work with the crowd because I think that it adds to it, but not all comics are comfortable with that. Sorry.
This dude named Rick Ingraham.
I know you're talking about.
He's always at the Comedy Store. He always have his beer or whatever and just talk shit. He'll do crowd work the whole fucking. He's one of the best crowd work dudes ever. But it's just play to your strength, like you know what I mean. Like I like crowd work comics too because you feel like it's more the top of the dome, but they've probably done this crowd work a number of times too. So like,
I think crowd work would be great to try if you didn't have anything you wanted to work on.
but not at a mic.
That would be,
Mm-hmm.
but that, not an open
well,
mic with comics. Then you're comics aren't gonna give you anything back. They're gonna be like whatever.
Oh yeah,
They're gonna
I tried
say
that
stupid
before.
shit.
They
They're gonna
just
say
look
stupid
at
shit, or they're just gonna look at you like
Yep.
really asshole.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you're at a club where they're just or even an open mic where there's audience, there's people sitting there drinking. Yeah,
Right,
then
right, right.
Try it. I mean,
When you
I
feel it,
Just do it.
You
Do
got to, because if you don't, like I learned that if I don't say the shit that's on my mind or on the forefront of my mind, then it's gonna fuck up the rest of my set.
but don't do crowd work with comics.
Yeah, that part.
I wouldn't necessarily agree that crowd work is only great for MCs and non-headliners because I've
How
seen
could you
it.
become?
Well, a headliner, I've seen lots of headliners work their crowd. I mean, let's just point out the biggest one that I can pop off the top of my head. Robin Williams was huge into crowd work when he started. I mean, he would get down in the crowd and he would just work that. And he went on beyond headliner status, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm going to agree to disagree with that statement.
Yeah, like it's just what you do. If you're good at it, then do it. But like you said, don't do it at an open mic. Like it's really no point.
Unless there's a crowd of people that aren't comics.
Right, right.
But
And
I don't
sometimes you get
think-
that.
I don't know if there's any comedian that's ever just purely done just crowd work.
Their whole set is.
Like they just
crowd work.
made it. They made it off of just
I
doing
saw-
crowd
Yeah,
work.
I don't think so.
I saw
'Cause
somebody.
I think it's about like making them think. Like even if they're doing like a lot of interaction, it's rehearsed. Either
I
way.
saw something.
Yeah, I think so.
Jim,
Yeah, it is
wait.
really, because even my crowd
I-
work is rehearsed.
One person comes to mind just recently, Jim McHugh, who started the Boston Comedy Festival. He was at Crackers and he did a lot of crowd work during his set, or at least I hadn't seen enough people live before. Like he's the most recent example I could think of, somebody who he got, I want to say half of his set was crowd work, but
Yeah, some people could just riff.
because just it worked and
I
it
think that
was
the crowd
interesting
likes
to
to be
watch.
engaged, though. 'cause
Yeah,
it
but
makes
it
them feel like
wasn't
they're
also
part of-
appropriate for every show. So
Right.
it depended on
Now
who was sitting in the audience.
Nah, I don't for sure every comic shouldn't do it in the show.
Mm-mm.
Because that's
Yeah, if
how,
it's your thing, do it. There's no rules in
But
comedy.
Yeah.
It's just whatever gets the people to laugh.
Yeah,
Exactly.
whatever works.
We just want to make people laugh.
But we are actually coming down to an
Damn.
hour, and we want to make sure that if you have any plugs that you want to get in, are you
Uh,
upcoming any place?
Go Jason R on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Go Jason R. I wish I
Follow
had
Jason
problems. I really
Ritchey
do.
on Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music. I just released the album called The Taser Tape. It's music and it's funny. And there's another album coming soon that is gonna be music and stand up.
Nice.
And where am I? I'll be at Fort Wayne Comedy Club August 10th, and somewhere in Wichita September 26th to the 28th.
Okay.
So come.
You got
But
lots of things going
Please
on.
go listen to the music and go to youtube.com/GoJasonR if you don't have the app. At GoJasonR is all it is. Very simple, guys. Please.
And don't forget to like the page, people.
Like
this
the page,
'cause
like
this
his page.
This is a really cool thing that we got here.
Like
The
our
Rumble
pages.
Renegade.
Renegade.
Rumble
Yep.
Renegades.
And-
Yes.
Rumble Fish, like
So-
the book, right?
Mhm.
No.
Well,
No.
do you want to? We have a list. Run the open mics.
Yes.
What is
So open mics. Tonight, there's Bear's Place in Bloomington, Joker's downtown Indy, Shoe Fly.
Yeah.
And then
Autos is
there's
tonight too.
Autos is tonight as well.
At the Mila. How do I say that? Which one? Million Inn?
Melody in.
Melody. Why
Melody
do I have
Inn.
such a hard time
Yes,
with that?
Melody Inn on 38th Street, classic place.
Where's the shoe
Oh.
fly at?
Yeah, where is the Shoe Fly?
It's downtown. It's off of.
It's a really
I know.
small space, right?
Yeah, it's in a basement of the restaurant Shoe Fly. I can't think of the cross
Okay.
streets.
Yeah,
It's
also
downtown.
very intimate.
It's just called
Google
Shoe
Maps,
Fly.
people.
Yep.
That's what we have it for.
So we've got Tuesdays is Crackers,
Yep.
and then the Comedy Addict.
22nd Talbot.
22nd and
22nd
Talbot or
Talbot.
Shoe
Or
Fly.
Shoe Fly. Okay, so Crackers downtown Indy on Tuesday.
And the Addicts on Tuesdays.
Yes,
in Bloomington.
and Wednesdays, 1949 Tavern.
Always a good place.
That's
Yeah, it is.
always
It's
very,
really
very
good.
happening. Yes, we do enjoy that. In Beech Grove, on Main Street, we have the Caravan open mic nights.
This is if you want to travel.
okay.
That's down in Kentucky.
It's Louisville, I
Louisville.
think.
Louisville
Another
one.
one.
Okay, Blind Tiger open mic.
That's in Kokomo.
That's in Cocoa. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yep. So
Do you guys the what?
Where's that one in Kokomo?
Wednesday nights at
This
9
Wednesday?
every Wednesday. Come on down.
Oh.
Liberty Street. I only thought Liberty Street was on
Thursdays.
On
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Okay, so Liberty Street
Yes.
downtown's on Thursdays. There's also I'm gonna plug a new one.
There's Ice Cream Social on Wednesday, which is
oh,
at the
okay.
Dugout.
At the Dugout Ice Cream Social,
I
but
want to go to these places.
is that every Wednesday?
Every
I have it.
Wednesday.
I want a copy of that.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure. And
We
then so okay,
we have-
Thursdays, sorry, Liberty Street, downtown Indy, and then up north in Fishers every Thursday. It is just an open mic that started, but it's at the 4-Day Ray Brewery.
Where's
Okay.
it at?
It's
4-Day
literally
Ray.
off
I think I heard
116th
of
Street,
it.
right?
All
Like,
right.
yeah, I stopped by.
New one, you guys.
I didn't sign up for it, but I stopped by. It's a great space. I actually, because I live in Fishers, so I wanted to approach them, but Thaddeus beat me to it. So I'm really happy
Good
that
job.
yeah,
All right.
because there's no longer the Vassar Lounge. And Case happens on
And
Fridays.
so does Tolly's up in Terre Haute.
And Tolly's in Terre Haute, which
Oh,
we
yeah.
love because
And-
there's awesome karaoke afterwards.
So there's a new mic
Support
on
these places.
It's
Thursday on the north
Thursday.
side. What's the name of the place?
It's called 4-Day Ray Brewery.
4-Day Ray
Ray
Brewery on
I
Thursdays.
think that's what it is. Yeah, 4-Day Ray. It's literally
Practice tomorrow.
Crackers
somebody said.
tomorrow. Sunday Wiley's
Yeah, that's if you want to go to Ohio.
Ohio, and then what
Oh.
else? Do
I
you
thought
guys-
there's one in Bloomington.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Hoppy Wobbles.
Yeah.
Hoppy Bobbles,
Hoppy Wobbles. Hoppy
Yes.
Wobbles.
Wobbles, which is a
Yeah.
tongue twister.
That
so,
is a tongue twister.
uh,
So, and we're going to close the show off with we have puppets coming next week. What?
we got puppets.
We got a puppet.
How you got a puppet?
We got a puppet coming.
Puppets.
And another
Puppet.
special guest. We're actually going to keep next week's episode top secret. So if you want to know what we have in store, we let you know there's a puppet. But if you want to know the rest, you're going to have to tune in. So we're
And-
all going to
oh,
sign.
Yeah, may I make one more plug? I made this announcement last week, but I'd like to make it again because I'll be making an appearance just because I live at the Depot at Nickel Plate. I'll be at the Spark Festival in Fishers this Saturday. I am officially running for U.S. Congress in 2020 for the 5th district. So just want to keep spreading the word and spreading love. So thanks.
Vote for Elle.
Yay.
Thank you so much for Jason.
No,
All right, yes, thank you for
No.
coming,
Great
and we're all
job.
going to
Thank you so
say
much for
goodbye.
having
See you guys
me.
next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Good evening. And Godspeed.